بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ثم أما بعد. So I hope that the lesson last time, you've been reflecting on it all week. I have been reflecting on it repeatedly. And when you start to observe the slightest thing you do reflects on even the worship that you do. So if you do something good, you wake up to Fajr without an alarm. If you don't do something good on that day or something bad in return, if you have 5 alarms linked to each other, you still won't wake up for, the shakur even in worship. Yes, that he blesses you to get up. And Ibn al-Qayyim has a great saying. He said, إذا أردت أن تعرف مقامك عند الله فانظر فيما أقامك. If you want to know where you are, rank, and how Allah values you, see what He's made it easy for you to be in. If it's easy for you to be in a situation where you worship Allah more repeatedly, then this is your value in Allah's eyes. If He's put you in a situation where you are far away from Him, then this is your rank and your position and how with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ash-Shakur not only in matters related to rewards, but one of the rewards is that He allows you to reach a higher rank in worship. One of the signs that you are on the righteous path, that you do something very little, and Allah thanks it for you with a lot. So you find yourself suddenly, from someone that only prayed within 5 seconds, you take your time. You find yourself, instead of praying and leaving, no, you wait, and after that perform tasbih, and you pray your sunnah. The increase in ranks is the sign that you are dealing with Allah's name Ash-Shakur. Ramadan is coming, and Ramadan with it is Ismullah Ash-Shakur is so prominent. A sunnah you do outside of Ramadan is equated to a compulsory act is required of you inside of Ramadan, in value, in reward. And look at ourselves in the beginning of Ramadan and look at ourselves in the end of Ramadan. We are very different people. We entered Ramadan, we wake up suddenly in Ramadan and say, oh, wait a second, I was a different person outside of Ramadan. By the end of Ramadan, you are willing to travel and go and stand in front of behind the sheikh for the whole night. And outside of Ramadan, if you'd spent 5 minutes more praying Isha and to a sunnah after it, you'd say, well, there's no one like me, mashallah. So this is the blessing of Allah's name, Ash-Shakur. Remember it when you are worshipping Him. Know that the moment you do something better, expect this to reflect on your worship as well. I remember an ayah in the Quran that I didn't cover last time. When Allah describes His servants, us, He says, وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ, and very little of my servants are thankful. Let's not be one of those that are not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's be from those little that are thankful. We can't have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shakur thanking us for all our actions, even our intentions. And we do not sit down and reflect and think and feel and thank Him, either by our tongue, by our heart, by our actions. There are grades of thanks. Don't be that person that, like arid land. You pour water in it in the morning, by afternoon it shows like it's never seen water in 1,000 years. You pour more water in. There's no reflection of Allah's blessings on you, on us. Just something before we started our lesson today. So a name today of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're speaking about. I'll give you a clue and see if anyone can deduct the name. Remember when we're kids and we trip over, fall over on the ground, graze our knees, and we run crying to our parent, to our mum, and your mum, gives you a hug and pats you and gives you something nice to eat and takes care of you, and you feel by the morning that you're even better than yesterday? Okay, another clue. You know how when someone's bones are broken, what does the doctor do? What do I do? Well, I'd come to me or come to another doctor, and they would push the break so the bones are aligned and put it in something to hold it until it heals. Yes? Anyone know the name we're talking about today? Everyone knows the name of Allah, the Compeller, Al-Jabbar. Al-Jabbar. Everyone, when I looked at translation in English, the translation that came back was the Compeller. That's only half the story. Jabara in the Arabic language, which is past tense, means to fix something broken. To fix something that is broken. In our language, if we say someone is Jabbar, not Al-Jabbar, Jabbar, it means he's a tyrant. Yes? In the Quran, there's an ayah that says, وَإِنِّي عُذْتُ بِكُلِّ مُتَجَبِّرٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِيَوْمِ الْحِسَابِ. And Allah, please protect me from every mutajabbir. Mutajabbir is a tyrant that does not believe in the Day of Judgment. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about Al-Jabbar, the one that fixes our breaks. Al-Jabbar has two meanings. Al-Jabbar, for the ones that have been broken in life, has a meaning. And for the ones that have caused the break, has a different meaning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from his names, is that Al-Jabbar. And the action is to all people that life has broken them. You need to seek him in that name. We need to seek him in that name. Al-Jabbar, the one that fixes our break and returns us better than before. How many of you has life broken them? At one stage, I probably raised my hand along with probably everyone else in the screen. Life will never leave you without breaking you. It will never leave you without breaking you. At one stage in your life, where you feel that there's no hope. It's there's no way to go. The problem is that when life breaks people, when life breaks us, we don't seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We see that life has broken us, then we should leave this life altogether. Or, I'm not going to ask Allah for anything because I'm a hypocrite. I've never asked him for anything before. I'm not now, when I'm in dire need, I'm not going to ask him. That's the shaitan just redirecting you away from him. Why is the shaitan redirecting us away from Allah in the most important moments in our life? Because the shaitan knows better than us. The shaitan knows the reality. The shaitan spent years and years and years reaching the rank of the angels. Not an angel himself, reaching the rank of the angels. The close angels. He knows Allah better than we know him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts those that come to him with a broken heart more than anyone else. More than anyone else. And I'll give you evidence from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made verses purely for us, for those in dire need, that life has broken. Yes? He said, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. Whom else but Allah will answer those in dire need but Himself. So is that everyone? Everyone. Muslims? Muslims. Non-Muslims? Non-Muslims. Everyone. It's been left without being identified with an alif and lam in this case for that reason. Everyone that is broken in this situation and is in dire need, go to Him. He will answer you without second question, without second ask, without you even being believing in Him. And the evidence in the Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing those that are non-believers. And He said, when you are in sea and you're about to drown, in the darkness of the sea at night, ضَلَّ مَن تَدْعُونَ إِلَّا إِيَّهُ, everyone else that you worshipped except of Allah is gone. This is the moment of truth where you leave everything else. You only call Allah. I've seen this where in the recent fires that happened in the States, people all they were saying is, oh God, please help. Everything else has disappeared in their life. Only God stays. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stays. There is a hadith Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi means that happened at the time of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, of the travel from Mecca to Jerusalem, and then from Jerusalem to the heavens. And this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks directly on His tongue to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, He says that on the Day of Judgment, He asks His servant, Ya abdi, جُعْتَ وَلَمْ تُطْعِمْنِي. I was hungry and it didn't feed me. قَالَ وَكَيْفَ أُطْعِمَكَ وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. How can I feed you and you are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Said, if you had fed this one in need, He would have found this with me. Yes, you would have found the reward with me. Except when it came to Ya abdi maridtu wa lam ta'udni. I was ill and you did not come and visit me. قال وكيف تمرض وأنت رب العالمين. How can you be ill and you're Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner of the creation? قال أما لو زرتني. You wouldn't have found the reward of this. You would have found me there with him. With whom? With the person that's suffering the illness. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the peak of servitude to Allah is when our hearts are broken. Because we have no arrogance left. Have you ever seen an arrogant patient? No. Someone that's life has broken them, does he still have any arrogance? None at all. Absolute, complete surrender and servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for that reason, Allah named Himself Al-Jabbar. Come to me, those that have seen injustice in this world. A wife that's seen injustice from her husband. A husband that's seen injustice from his wife. Someone that the orphans that don't have anyone in this world but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people that have suffered from wars, the people that in Gaza, everyone that suffered injustice in this world. Everyone that life has broken them. This is where you go and stand in front of Al-Jabbar subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him, fix me after my break. We learn from Ayub alayhi salam. Ayub alayhi salam was one of Allah's prophets, and he was a man of wealth, health, yes, and men and children. He had 4 wives. He had many children. He had lots of he was wealthy. His business was flourishing. And one after the other, he lost his wealth. He lost all of his children. He lost all of his wives. He lost his health. For 20 years, he laid in bed with bed sores. Even his wife got fed up near the end. Now, this is a story of a man that is our life's nightmare coming to reality, isn't it? It's everything that we've been given is taken away. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, yes, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah does not ask of a soul beyond its ability. Allah knows Ayub's ability. Allah knows it. And for 20 years, people would come and visit him until he heard two of his close friends saying, if Allah is not angry with him, why would he must have done something wrong in his life. You see how we interpret these things? We interpret these things. We interpret this as that Allah's angry with us. No, it's not. It's not. Unless you've done something horrible in life, this is Allah's test for you to raise you ranks and ranks and ranks. And in the Quran, Allah mentions Ayub many times. What did Ayub say? What would you say after 20 years of being bedridden, having lost all your children and your wives except one? What would you say? Would you say, Rabb, you've taken everything from me? What else is left? Not Ayub. Ayub alayhi salam speaks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's seeking Ismullah Al-Jabbar. He's seeking Allah's name Al-Jabbar, asking him, Rabbi, Allah, you have touched me with some harm. Touched me. Rabbi inni massani ad-dur. Touched me with some harm. Wa anta arhamur rahimin. And you're the most merciful. You're the most merciful. The most capable of mercy. In Arabic language, harf al-fa, when it's put as a connector, for those people that did Arabic, it means that extremely quick. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. We answered him immensely quickly. Yes? We told him just kick your feet in where you are. Water will come out. Wash with it and drink from it. He became healthier and younger than he was 20 years ago. Even his wife didn't recognize him. وَآتَيْنَاهُ أَهْلَهُ وَمِثْلَهُمْ مَعَهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him with everything that was taken away from him and more. Al-Jabbar subhanahu wa ta'ala. We learn from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who knew Ismullah Al-Jabbar better than all of us. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had reached an impasse in Mecca. No, there's no way that anything's going to progress any further. It's a gridlock. So he's looking for other tribes that can support him and protect him. He knows that Al-Ta'if is the second biggest force in the Arab Peninsula after Mecca. But if he goes out with a camel or a horse or a mule, people in Mecca will know that he's traveling. So he'll go walking to Al-Ta'if. Massive distance between Mecca and Al-Ta'if. He's only got with him his adopted son, Zayd ibn Haritha radiyallahu anhu. He walks all the way to Al-Ta'if to meet their leaders. When we put the effort into something like that, we expect a result. We expect a result. Rasulullah was hoping for a result. He meets the three leaders, and the three leaders are extremely insulting. Someone tells him, أَمَا وَجَدَ اللَّهُ غَيْرَكَ Has Allah not found anyone else except you to send? And the other telling him, well, if you are truly who you say you are, then you are even higher in rank than I can speak to you. And if you're a liar, even lower in rank, then I can look at you. And then they direct their children and to stand in 2 queues on the outskirts of their tribes on the roofs to throw him with stones on the way out. His adopted son Zayd ibn Haritha radiallahu anhu, he was hugging him from behind so that all the stones hit Zayd. But his ankles were bleeding, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his feet from the stones that hit him. How do you feel? You've put all the effort. Everything is locked for you in the place you are, and you're looking outside, and this is how you're treated. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes and rests on a wall of a vineyard where they grow grapes. Al-Ta'if is much higher than the rest of the Arab Peninsula, so the weather there is quite different. It's got a microclimate there, and they grow fruits and vegetables and etc. They get rain regularly, so on. A 10-year-old boy Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam raises his hands up. He raises his hands up. What's he going to say? Allah, please take me revenge from those people? No. He's broken, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's heartbroken. Listen to his words. Allahumma inni ashku ilayk da'afa quwwati. Allah, I complain to you. My weakness. I have no power over these people. Wa qillata hilati. I have no resource. Yes? No tactics, no plan with these people. Wa hawani ala nas. And how little people deal with me now. Hawani ala nas. Hayyin, I'm not that valuable in people's eyes. Anta rabbul mustadafin. You are the one that cares for the weak. Wa anta rabbi. And you are my Lord. Yes. Ila man takiluni. Who are you leaving me? Who are you leaving me to rely on in these people? Ila ba'idun yatajahamuni. To a stranger that is dealing with me so badly. Am ila qaribin mallaktahu amri. He's talking about Mecca. Or close people to me that are mushrikeen, and you have made them own my destiny now, currently. إن لم يكن بك غضب علي فلا أبالي. And finally, if this is not anger from you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards me, I do not mind. The words, Allah, did he ask anything of Allah? Did he ask anything of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or was he purely complaining his situation to Al-Jabbar? He was purely complaining his situation. Sometimes the fixing of our situation, of our heart, does not come all of a sudden. It comes gradually. A 10-year-old boy that attends the vineyard, his name is Addis. He's not from the Arab Peninsula, he's from up north in Iraq. A place called Nainawa. Yes. And he gives some grapes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 2 people covered in blood, resting on the wall of the vineyard. So he hears Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say Bismillah before he eats. He said, "This is not the words of I don't hear these words in this Arab Peninsula before." So he tells him, I am a prophet. Where are you from? He said, from Iraq in Nainawa. He said, from the place of my brother Yunus, alayhi salam. You know Yunus that was swallowed by the whale? Yes? If you don't know the story, we can cover it in the stories of Anbiya and the prophets, inshallah. He said, yes, he was a prophet and I'm a prophet. So Addis kissed Rasulullah's feet. It's the first compensation. It's the first, yes, if these people have blooded your feet, Ya Rasulullah, there is someone here that's willing to kiss your feet and compensate you for the little that to change your heart from what happened afterwards. Of course, we all know that Rasulullah, the bigger compensation, he was raised to the heavens, to a place that no being has never been before. No one, not even Jibreel alayhi salam. Not even Jibreel alayhi salam had ever been there. He was raised to a place that he could hear the screeches of the pens writing destiny. Raised to a place no other human being was, no other being, not human, no other being was raised to. So Allah is telling him, if you feel that the people of the earth do not know your value, know your true value with us today, Ya Muhammad. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. What is the final compensation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعَ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. We never waste the true efforts that someone puts. You went walking to Al-Taif. But we will make the people of Medina come to greet you after your when you perform immigration from Mecca to Medina. You put your effort in seeking other tribes, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put this effort in Medina. So by the time of Rasulullah went there, all of Medina were Muslim. The majority of Al-Aws wal Khazraj, the two main tribes there, were Muslims. Do not. Sometimes the compensation of what you faced in life is delayed. It doesn't have to be instantaneous. It doesn't have to be the moment I pray in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask him in his name Al-Jabbar that. No. It's but be sure that it will happen. Be sure that it will happen. So this is Ismullah Al-Jabbar for the week. Now let's go to the name of Allah that is in the translation, the compeller. This is the name for the people that commit transgressions, that commit the injustices, that have broken people. If you are a business owner and you insult and break one of your employees, if he goes home and cries over at night and asks Allah in his name Al-Jabbar to compensate him, Allah will compensate him and break you for his sake. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jabbar to the weak and Jabbar on those that commit transgressions, those that commit heinous crimes. It works both ways. So Ismun Jabbar is one of the ways that we live a balanced life in this world. Because if I'm going to commit something bad towards one of my employees or my wife or someone that Allah has given me power over, I have to remember Ismullah Al-Jabbar. Because if I break that person, or I break my wife, or that orphan, he goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his name Al-Jabbar. Allah will compensate them and break me for their sake. So Ismullah Al-Jabbar works both ways. Which one are you? And by the way, on the Day of Judgment, when we're all standing there, the hardest moment of all is when you are taken to stand in front of Allah. ليس بينك وبينه ترجمان. There's no interpreter. There's no one to translate. No. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels will call Fulan ibn Fulan, so and so's name, son of so and so. Halumma lil-ardi al-Jabbar, come to stand in front of Al-Jabbar. Think about it. How terrifying is it? You're going to stand in front of Al-Jabbar, and he's going to see which one are you. Were you the one that broke people? Were you the one that committed injustice? Or were you the one in this world that received the injustice? There are people that are going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their face, the skin of their face is going to fall off. Not from anything, but from pure shame of their actions. And there are people that Allah will expose their actions in front of billions of humanity. Allah will expose their actions in front of all of humanity. They get to watch his whole or her whole life, and her sins and his sins. And there are other people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will block out all of humanity, and only him and the person standing in front of them. And he will tell them their sins. He say, do you remember you did this on this day? And you did this on this day? And you committed this on this day? سَطَرْتُهَا عَلَيْكَ فِي الدُّنْيَا. I concealed those sins for you in this world. No one found out about this. وَالْيَوْمَ أَغْفِرُهَا لَكَ. And today, I conceal them from all of humanity, and I forgive you for them. So, I think this is when it comes to injustice. So, what about worship? What about worship? What about if you were planning to do something very good, but you were blocked? You couldn't do it. You were planning to do Umrah, and just before you went for Umrah, something tough happened and so on, and you're broken inside because you were planning to do something amazing, and you're sitting at home crying. I'll tell you a story. In Ghazwat Tabuk, the Battle of Tabuk is 1,000 kilometers away from Medina. It took them 3 months to travel there and 3 months back. It was in August, extremely hot weather. It was the time where it was the time to collect your dates after waiting the whole year. So you work the whole year, and this is the time where you harvest your dates. You harvest your fruit. And it was the time where it cost so much to set up an army like this. And there were 7 people that came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're poor. They're poor. They don't own anything. And they're asking for that they can go with them in battle, but if they could find them a camel or something to ride on for the whole distance. By the way, the companions were sharing one ride amongst 3. So 2 would ride and 1 would walk, and then they would start swapping. This is how limited they were in resource. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, I have nothing to carry you, to take you on. I have nothing. But because of that, Al-Jabbar, he had to compensate them. He compensated them by mentioning them in the Quran, so that we can read their story every time, every one of us, until the Day of Judgment. He raised their rank so much. He raised their rank so much that they are read about in the Quran every time. Musa alayhi salam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he wants to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants to see him. Musa alayhi salam, of all the prophets, was the only one that Allah spoke to directly without sending a messenger like Jibreel alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam was Kalimullah, the person that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to directly. And he's asking now for another worship that he can look to, he can see Allah. So Allah tells him, yeah, Musa, if you won't be able to see me because you are not created in that way now. On the day of judgment, when you're resurrected, a different story. But now you won't be able to. I will expose myself to this, expose my face to this mountain. If the mountain can withstand this, you will be able to see me. So the mountain crumbles. And Musa alayhi salam falls shocked, unconscious from the scene. Yes? Is that the end of the story? No. Musa alayhi salam asked for a worship and wasn't given it. But Allah then, in the next verses in the Quran, is telling Musa alayhi salam that I have chosen you, اصطفيتك برسالاتي وبكلامي. I have chosen you specifically, Moses, to be Musa alayhi salam, to be the one that I speak to and to send my words to, the Torah, the book to. So, despite the fact that he missed one of the worships that he was aiming to do, Allah Al-Jabbar still had to compensate with something else. So, if there's a worship you're wishing to do, and you're truly wishing to do, and you're planning the last 10 days of Ramadan, that you're going to take them off work and you're going to worship Allah properly in those 10 days. But then something happened, someone else went on leave, and you're back at work for those 10 days. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate you. Will compensate you for the pure intention that you wanted to do this. Even when we intend the Umrah, we say, but if I am blocked and cannot come, I have intent when we go to al-miqat to perform ihram, we say, yes, that if I am blocked and not able to continue this Umrah, it is where I stay, which is but the reward you are sure of, even if you are blocked from completing the Umrah, even if you are. Al-Jabbar subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, what do we take home for this week? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prefers the pure servitude of his servants. And for those that there is no arrogance in their heart when they are making dua to him or performing worship to him. Rasulullah ﷺ says in the hadith, and this hadith is narrated by both Al-Bukhari and Muslim, two of the best narrators of hadith, yes, in their books. It says, Man tawadda misla wudu'i hadha, those that perform wudu, ablution, that just like me, yes, do, and perform 2 rak'ah. La yuhaddithu fihuma nafsuh, does not speak, does not wander and start leaving his prayers and going away and wandering far away, yes, like we all do in our prayers, yes. غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ, all of his sins, or all of her sins will be forgiven. Just for that. I kept thinking about this hadith and saying, well, whom are those people that can truly focus in their prayers and not think about anything else but what they're doing in their prayers, except those that life has broken them? Whom else is going to do that? Anyone else that has got some arrogance in his heart, or feels he's got everything under his hands, everything under control, they won't be able to fulfill this. It's only for those that are seeking Allah to fix their break. They will not be seeking anything else for their whole prayers except for that. Wallahu a'lam. Finally, I leave you with the story of Musa alayhi salam as a child. To know that the events happen, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you with His name Al-Jabbar. Allah tells us that if we did not commit sins as humanity, Allah would replace us with other kind of creation that would commit sins to ask Him for forgiveness, so He would forgive us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is waiting for us to go to Him so we can bestow His names on us. Bestow the actions of His names on us. Pharaoh, the Pharaoh at the time of Moses, had seen in his dreams that someone from the sons of Israel would take over his kingdom. So he decreed that all the children, males from Bani Israel, every other year will be slaughtered. Horrible, horrible thing. He's going to slaughter all the males from Bani Israel every other year. I don't know why every other year. So when will Moses be born? Of course in the year where there's no slaughtering. No. This is not how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala runs things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa alayhi salam was born at the time the year when it was decreed that the boys will all be slaughtered. Imagine the mother of Musa alayhi salam. Would she be wishing that she'd have a girl when she was pregnant? What's going through her mind? Now Musa's born a boy. Yes? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Al-Jabbar, He wants to do multiple things with one action. And this is, by the way, Allah, you note, if you monitor your life, you'll see that Allah does with one thing multiple benefits. With one action, multiple benefits, but you don't know. You don't know at the time. So Allah told her, فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ, if you are afraid that they're going to come and kill him, فَأَرْضَيْهِ, yes, so breastfeed him, and then put him in a box in the water. Sorry, what box in the water? So I leave him to drown or leave them to kill him? Which one? But she trusts the voice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that tells her to do this. The box goes to where, of course, Allah guides the box where? To the house of Pharaoh, where his wife sees the boy and says, قُرَّةَ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ. Do not kill the boy, yes? Maybe he will be of benefit, or we can take him a son. By the way, Pharaoh, if he had said, he will be of both benefit to you and me, maybe he wouldn't have drowned in the sea. But instead he said, only benefit to you, Asiya, not me. Just a side note, to be careful to think about what you say at times, because sometimes destiny is linked to the way of what we speak. So, with that action, Musa alayhi salam is now going to be brought up in the house of Pharaoh. But we still have the issue that his mother is going crazy. What's happened to him? Where is he? She sends his sister, who finds out that he is in the central palace of Pharaoh, and he's grown up as one of his children. But because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Al-Jabbar, He prevented him from accepting any wet nurse, any breastfeeding except of his mother. So every time they bought every wet nurse possible to feed him, and he rejected all of them. So his sister told them, shall I tell you about someone that can come and, I know a good lady. I know a good lady that can come and breastfeed him. Yes. فَرَدَدْنَاهُ إِلَىٰ أُمِّهِ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنَ. So we gave him back to his mom. Yes. So that كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا, so she feels that she is happy once again and not sad for this separation. So with this action, Musa is in the house of Pharaoh. and at the same in the house of the Pharaoh, and being brought up, so he's safe. No one's going to kill him. And at the same time, his brother is the one that comes every day to nurse him. Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Al-Jabbar. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم.